On a suit, drink water. Don't drink and drive.
Game over!
Take it light.
Now you're more fluent.
Mackinac, he got three!
Bears.
So this is really good right here. Absolutely. Let's do it.
All right. Welcome back to another episode of the All American Hoops podcast. I'm your host, Chris Driscoll. Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah, I'm in a great mood today. Ready to talk some hoops. Just finished my first full week of school. I'm not really I shouldn't say finished the full week because it's been I should say it's been 5 days. Obviously not the first full week is done yet, but very, very excited. Second weekend where I'm talking about being a teacher. Wish everyone the best to start the school year. Now I'm talking about how we already started. But as I mentioned, episode 40. So just a couple 40s that I checked out. So Sean Kemp, one of the most underrated defenders of all time, Harrison Barnes, and of course, one of my least favorite players of all time, Udonis Haslem, who I used to think of when I thought of him, I just thought of like that jerk on the Heat that stood on the sidelines, and just went all out, which I'm not going to criticize him too much for that because you're going to cheer on your team. I'm not going to go at you too hard for that, but however, what I will go at you is for saying F. Bill Russell, the guy, who's dead now, and also for saying that this part isn't really on him, it's more so on the media for hopping on the bandwagon when he said the Celtics haven't been battle tested, which no one has ever used that word ever. And then once he said that word, everyone jumped on it because they found a new word to slander the Celtics, and they just found a way. So yeah, screw you, Dennis Haslem. But yeah, those are the 40s that I could think that I actually had to dig up and look up. The only 40 that I thought of at the top of my head was Bartolo Colon, former Met legend. He was a key piece to that 2015 team that made the World Series. Speaking of which, maybe the Mets have another World Series run in them. I'm certainly not putting it off the table, despite thinking they would be off this year. But I digress. But we got some awesome hoops to talk about today. Matt is going to be joining us in a couple seconds now. We are going to be ranking our top 10 centers. That'll be the first thing we talk about. We've been holding it off for later, but this will be the first thing we talk about. I'm excited about that. Then figure we do a new thing. We're going to do a draft of all the players in the Atlantic Division. I believe we're going to do our top 8 players, which I didn't even tell Matt that, but I hope you're listening now. And then the last thing we're going to do is the Numbers on the Board podcast. They did a hypothetical on if every team had 2 of their best player, who would be the best. So awesome episode ahead of us. Really looking forward to it. This is the All American Hoops podcast. Welcome to the show. As per usual, I'm joined by my younger brother, Matt Driscoll.
Chris, a pleasure as always. Happy Luke Cornett episode.
No!
For those who celebrate. Disappointed you mentioned.
Very. Oh my God.
Miami over Luke Cornett. Also want to shout you out. New job this week. Sounds like it's going well from our conversations at home. Hope it is going well. But yeah, I was a little more excited before you forgot our boy Luke Cornett.
Oh my God, that's got to be up there as my least favorite thing I've done on this podcast. I don't know what I guess not ranking Jaylen Brown in my top 3 shooting guards would have to be number 1, but I don't.
And drafting Dame in the All-Star draft.
I didn't draft him. I didn't draft him. He fell on my lap. What are you talking about? No, but funny thing is actually because the reason that I could not think of any 40s, obviously Luke Cornett coming up is really disappointing. But instead of looking it up online, I did it on ChatGPT instead, and they just straight up lied for some of them, honestly. Because first I did basketball players, then I did famous athletes. So the 4 guys that came up were Jim Brown, Nolan Ryan, Gary Carter, and Mickey Mantle. Now I didn't know Jim Brown and Nolan Ryan's number, but Gary Carter and Mickey Mantle, their numbers are very famous. Yeah,
Gary Carter's 8.
Yeah, Mickey Mantle is
7.
Yeah, Seinfeld. So those are very, very be one thing. Obviously, ChatGPT is great for some things. Like if you need to just jot I need help jotting down this emo or something. That's what it's good for. But asking them actual survey questions, no, they just straight up lied. I don't know, what are you talking about? No, because they even said Gary Carter is known for wearing this number, but he wore this number to the end of his career. I looked up in Miss Reference. No, he didn't wear that number at the end of his career. That's just BS. But yeah, I digress there. Okay, yeah, but thanks for the props on the new job. Yeah, it's been a great week for me. Very, very nice structure I'm involved. I'm not going to say on air who I'm with, but it's been very good. Okay, so yeah, I guess we'll jump right into things. So we'll be ranking our top 10 centers in the league today. Now, Matt, I'm sure you agree with me. This was much, I don't want to say, or not, I shouldn't say easier, but it was much, like I wasn't pulling as much teeth to rank my top 10 centers as I was my power forwards.
Yeah, I feel like with a lot of these, like power forwards, small forwards, shooting guards, like really 4 through 10, not maybe 4 through 10 to stretch, but like 4 through 8 is very interchangeable.
Yep.
I feel like centers, I was texting a couple of my friends. I was texting a friend of the pod, Matt McCann, as well as Dean and Ryan. And we all agreed that, you know, it's kind of cut and dry. Like, obviously, we talked a little before. We didn't compare lists yet, but we talked a little before. I left someone off that you have on. So there's some things like that. But, yeah, it's definitely more cut and dry than the other positions.
For sure. Yeah, so without further ado, if you want to give both your honorable mentions and your top 10 lists, you can go right ahead.
All right, so like the other list, this is a projection for 2024, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. So my honorable mention, it's really tough to leave him off, but he might be playing more of the 4 this year, which I took into account with the addition of Isaiah Hartenstein on the team. An honorable mention is Chet Holmgren. Another honorable mention may be the most handsome man in the NBA, Al Horford. It was very hard leaving him off, but there was a couple guys ahead of him, even in my honorable mentions, that, you know, it was tough. But
yeah.
With number 10, I'm going to start with a guy who I think is extremely underrated. I know he has some flaws to his game. He's not a terrific rebounder, but he's an elite shot blocker. He spaces the floor very well. A team I'm very excited to watch this year, the Indiana Pacers, is Miles Turner. At number 9, I have, you might hate this placement, but one of the best defenders in the NBA, Rudy Gobert. Again, it's a projection for 2024. At number 8, I have Alfred Sengun. I am a massive fan of Sengun. I think he's going to take a huge leap this year, especially he didn't get a contract extension in the offseason. It's kind of, you know, prove it, see where you are. I think he's not even close to his ceiling yet. I think he's going to take a ginormous leap this year. At number 7, I have a guy who was underrated to me because friend of the pod, Dean, second mention in the episode within the first 5 minutes, hates this guy and is always talking about how horrible he is. I think he's great. Sabonis from the Sacramento Kings.
I started writing down his name when you mentioned Dean, like you Sabonis. Yes.
Very, very underrated. I think he's great. At number 6, I have certified NBA champion Kristaps Porzingis. I wanted to put him at 5, put him in the top 5, but it was tough. At number 5, I have Bam Adebayo, future Celtic. I know I should hate Bam. He's a dirty player on the Heat, but I value versatility, and I think he is maybe the best defender in the league. I think I have him in the top 3. I think I have him at 2, but he's really one of the only guys that can guard 1 through 5 in the league. He's super impressive. At number 4, I have Victor Wembanyama. I think he's going to be unbelievable this year. I mean, that's not really a hot take. But yeah, especially him with Chris Paul and a full off season, another year to adapt to the league. I think he's going to be unbelievable. At number 3, I have Joel Embiid. I know this is really a hot take to have him at 3 instead of 2, but I value availability, which is ironic who I'm saying at 2 because he was known for being hurt, but past couple of years he has not been. At number 2, I have Anthony Davis, one of the best playoff performers. I've said it multiple times. One of the best playoff performers of our generation. Unbelievable. He can't really guard 1, but he is extremely versatile on defense. He makes any defense one of the best in the league. And at number 1, if you don't have Nikola Jokic, I don't want to talk to you really. Nikola Jokic, best player.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is a great list for sure. I'll give my list that we can compare. So yeah, I'll go over my honorable mentions too. So trying to think of how many guys I want to include because I'm going to mention Al Horford obviously, even though I think there are more than a few guys who I have ahead of in my honorable mentions. I guess I'll go. I guess I'll ask you this: who do you think, like, objectively speaking, who'd you rather have on your team, Al Horford or Brook Lopez?
It's tough because Al has definitely a smaller role,
right? Brook has been on the decline the past couple of years, but also he's a stretch center who can defend the rim, which obviously that's one of my favorite things. So,
I mean, so can Al.
Of course, yeah. But Al's a very good rim defender. Brooke, maybe not this past year, but 2 years ago, he was a defensive player of the year candidate, so he was much better on the defensive end. But
I don't have him in front of me, but I believe Brooks Lopez counting stats are also way better.
Yeah, probably. So I had him at 14. Then at 13, I had Miles Turner, who's your 10. Yeah, I wouldn't say I have an issue with him being a 10, especially since you didn't really count Chet as a center. Since this is projecting this year, I did have Kristaps Porzingis at 12, actually.
Well, that is fair.
Yeah. Obviously, this is a guy who, as you mentioned, he can, again, a big who can stretch the floor and defend the rim. There's not many guys you can who can do that. Then at 11, this is someone that I've given flowers to on this spot before. I got Jared Allen. I think he's one of the more underrated players in the league. People say that Evan Mobley is like the anchor of that defense. I think that Jared Allen is a better player than Evan Mobley. If you want to say that Mobley is going to be better this year, I have zero issue with that. I thought that this past year, but Allen was the much better player. But obviously we didn't see Allen in the playoffs though. So
I did want to. Sorry, not to cut you off. I did want to include him in my honorable mentions. I totally forgot. He was. I was debating between him or Miles Turner, and I just believe that Miles Turner is a better player. But I saw a tweet the other day. It was Evan Mobley and Jared Allen lead like almost one of the best defenses in the NBA every year, and their two guards are 6'1" and really bad defenders. It's super impressive. So.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so with that being said, here's my actual list. So at number 10, I have Alperen Şengün. I 100% agree with what Matt said. I think he's going to have another bounce back career year. People were hating on him after the Rockets went on that big run, saying like, "Oh, Jalen Green's better," and that's I'm fully expecting Şengün to pick that up. At number 9, I do have Chet Holmgren. It's going to be very interesting seeing the pairing with Hartenstein there. He was awesome defense, especially the first half of the year. Number 8, and I'm not sure if I misheard you or something, but and I included him because we didn't go over him last week. Karl Anthony Towns. That's fine. Yes. So number 8, I do have Karl Anthony Towns. He played awesome against the Nuggets. Was kind of the unsung hero in the Nugget series because everyone gave credit to Ant for zero reason. Not for zero reason. He played really well actually, but I shouldn't say zero reason. They gave credit to Gobert for a lot of good reasons, but because he was the roamer, defending the rim. But Cat was the guy that was actually putting his body on Jokic, which not many guys can do that. But Cat's not a good defender, but he's like a big body who was good for that system. 7, I do have Sabonis. One of the best offensive bigs in the league. You could debate I would say outside of Embiid and Jokic, I'd probably put him at 3rd, honestly. For just solely on the offensive end. His defense is pretty brutal though, which knocked him down a few spots. Also his playoff performance as well. Where'd I go? 6, I do have Rudy Gobert. I do think he's the second best player on the Wolves. I think that's or not I think. Yeah, he was the best player on the best defense in the league. And as much as he declines in the playoffs, like against the Mavs, he still played pretty solid. Like I don't know if any of you saw the video the other day of him guarding the guys out in space in the playoffs. He's not as bad as people say he was, but although last week I said that he's good in compared to other bigs, I would say he's average compared to other bigs actually. Like out on the perimeter, obviously best in the league, just solely in the rim, but probably about average compared to bigs. Out in space.
I did see that video and I was shocked. I mean, I guess it's just like Twitter agendas and stuff. Like I definitely fell into that. He's horrible in isolation. Like the Luka step back to win the game. Obviously, it was tough. It's Luka. Like what? There's only so much you can do. Mm-hmm. But I did see that video. I think guy shot like 5 of 20 or something.
Was like 7. It was what was it like 7 of 24, something like that? Maybe 7 of 23. Like it's something along those lines.
Yes.
So. And then our number 5, I had Bam Adebayo. I was kind of debating on these two, but I essentially went with Bam because of the versatility. Bam's actually, I think, a little overrated, and as far as it goes for rim defender, but he's still good under the rim, great out of the perimeter, and again, versatile, which translates in the playoffs, and he's shown that time and time again. Like when he has a fully healthy team, he's proven to be one of the better player risers, especially except when it goes up against Rob Williams. Number 4, I do have Victor Wembanyama. again, it'll be. I'm interested to see what's going to happen this year because everyone expecting him, including me, to take that superstar jump. But at the same time, the Spurs are absolutely awful. So, I don't know. I'm sure I think he'll have like an awesome start to the year, but maybe towards the end of the year is where they might start to wrap him in bubble wrap, just so they can see. Just so they can see like what exactly they want to do towards the end of the season. Number 3, and the reason I said damn it when you had Embiid at 3 was because I thought I was going to be the one to hate Embiid by putting him at 3. But yes, I agree with you. And we talked about this last week in our big discussion. I shouldn't say big because it wasn't as big as I thought it'd be about building a team. Embiid is probably the better number 1 option in the regular season. We don't know who's the better number 1 option in the playoffs, even though AD played awesome in the playoffs in 2018, like when he swept the Pelicans. We haven't seen it since then, but I still firmly believe that he's just as good as he was then. But yeah, both as the maybe number 1's debatable, but if we shift down to number 2, I 100% want AD over Embiid as my number 2 option. But yeah, we're trying to look segues. AD is number 2, best defender of the league in my opinion, and a number 1, Nikola Jokic, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, we had like basically the same list, like not like numbers. A couple of them were different. I forgot about Karl Anthony Towns. I know we said last week that he was a 5, and
which is funny because you're actually the one who said like in my text message you're like, oh, Cat's more of a 5. So like yeah.
So I had Sengun at 8, Sabonis at 7. I'd probably slot Cat in between them.
Okay.
So I guess that would leave Miles Turner off my list. Damn. I really wanted Miles Turner to be top.
Yeah.
That's probably where I'd put him. Maybe I would push the Miles Turner over Gobert agenda, but I'm not going to do that. But yeah.
He's a better shot blocker, even though. Yeah, he's.
Yeah, pretty similar list. Like we said, it was pretty cut and dry. Like top 15 is, pretty set in stone.
Yep. Awesome. Cool. So now we're going to do something we haven't done in a couple weeks. Or I guess we did it for the Olympics, but before that, it's been a couple months. So yeah, we're going to do a draft actually. I don't know if we're going to do this every week. We're going to see how it goes, but yeah, we figure we'll start off with the division that we're most familiar with. We're going to draft the players in the Atlantic Division. So that's the Celtics, the Knicks, the Sixers, the Raptors, and the Nets. 3 teams are very strong. 2 teams are very weak. So I'm sure there might be some players on the Raptors, probably no players in the Nets. Actually, that's not true. Maybe we'll see. We have plenty of time. So Matt, do you want to go 10? Do you want to go 10 deep?
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Let's go 10. Yeah. Okay.
And are we building a team or are we going best player available?
Building a team.
Building a team. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
you started a job this week. I'll give you the first pick.
Appreciate that. Okay. And I'm interested to see what you do with your second and third pick here. So obviously the first pick, I'm going to go with the best player in the Atlantic Division, Debater Wall, Jason Tatum.
I'm shocked by that pick. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna overthink this. He's the second best player in the Atlantic Division. As much as I slander him, it's Joel Embiid.
Okay.
Do you disagree with that? You don't think he's the second best player?
Not the slightest. No. Yeah.
All right. And for the third pick, I'm going with one of the best 2-way players in the league. Finals MVP, won an elite playoff run this year. I'm going with Jaylen Brown.
There we go. I cannot wait to do this, to like fully release my rankings because I sent you, John, and Matt my list a few weeks ago, and then we did a discussion on the shooting guards when John came on here. I am making changes to my list, and let's just say your roommates aren't going to be happy with the changes I'm making. So, yeah. But with that being said, I am going to take the guy who I've slandered a ton in the past. I shouldn't say slandered. It was more so me waiting until he actually achieved something to give his flowers. So, yeah, number 2, with my second pick in the 4th overall pick in the draft, I'm going to go Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, that's the right pick. I think that is undebatably the top 4 players in the Atlantic Division.
Probably, yeah. And then with my 5th pick, so you got my point guard. I got my 3/4. Do I go with another 2? Do I go with? I think I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with I'm going to pick up my second guard here because I'm expecting him to have another great year. Unfortunately, I'm going to go with Tyrese Maxey.
Damn it, Chris. Damn it. Damn it. See, I already picked a center, so I don't want to take another center.
Okay.
So I'm going to grab my 4 here. And I'm going to go with Julius Randle.
Okay.
You sounded shocked by that pick. Yeah, I think he's kind of becoming underrated. I know he's, one of the worst playoff defenders of all time. But his counting stats are unbelievable. And I think maybe this year, maybe something will change, new team. And then I'm going to grab my point guard. I'm going to get Drew Holiday.
Really putting the emphasis on building a team because, obviously, Drew, I don't know if Drew's a top 10. He's a basically top 10 player of the division, but it's kind of unbelievable. Like I've really thought about it. He really started in the Olympics. That's and nobody thinks he's even close to being a top 5 player. No one thinks he's a top 12 American player. But this guy is starting in the Olympics. So it just goes to show you how much he's willing to take on a role and one of the best team players in the league. We got my 2 guards. I got my forward. So I guess I got to go big here.
I probably should have waited. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Had 2 guards.
Got my 2. That's okay. Got my 2 guards. I got to go big. So I'm going to go with Porzingis here.
Yeah.
He'll be my center. Got my 2 guards. I guess I'll go with my other wing here. I know the Knicks fans are going to be upset at this because for whatever reason, they think that they love. I shouldn't say for whatever reason because we love overvaluing our role players as well. But at the end of the day, Paul George is better than what any other Knicks player, whatever any of those wing guys have. Which some of them were celebrating. I'll give Dean his 3rd shout out to the pod, celebrating that when they traded 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges rather than them signing Paul George. So that was interesting.
Yeah. So let's see. I got Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Julius Randle, and Embiid. So I got a 1, a 2/3, a 3/4, and a 5. So I should go wing here. I'm gonna go with Scotty Barnes. I love Scotty Barnes. So
I'm surprised they fell this far.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah.
So let's see. So that's kind of my starting 5 is kind of set. I'm gonna go with another guy that just is great with his role, a playoff riser, unbelievable availability. That's Derek White.
It's the right pick. Okay, so even though it just slandered the Knicks fans for overvaluing Mikal Bridges, I'm going to go with him here. Just more wing help. If we need to stop down the stretch, it's Tatum, Paul George, Mikal Bridges switching will be very nice. And you do have Embiid, so I'm going to pick up his kryptonite and pick up Al Horford.
Damn it! I knew you were going to take him. All right, so you took Al. Let's see. Sorry. I am gonna go with. Let's see. I have a guard on the bench. I have Embiid. I am going to go with OG Anunoby, one of the best perimeter defenders in the game.
It's a big number 1, honestly.
Availability is the Atlantic Division has some great defenders. Jeez.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I get 2, right?
You do get 2.
All right, so let's see. I'm trying to think of a big. Hartenstein would have been perfect. You know what? This guy's been great since he's been on this team. He's still a young guy. I know he was drafted a couple years ago, but RJ Barrett.
Okay. Shout out to the episode.
But
what was that?
I know I said I needed a big and then took another wing, but
it's okay. episode 4. Shout out RJ Barrett. The whole episode is about him. Shout out John Cassidy, aka John from JFK. Even though he's been pretty depressed the past couple of days, like all the Giants fans. That's okay. That's why I'm happy we do a basketball podcast. So we can distract ourselves from the terror of being a Giants fan. We say that as if we don't have 2 Super Bowl rings in our lifetime, but that's okay.
I was in first grade I was in kindergarten when the first one happened. So
you weren't kindergarten, that's right. Yeah, no, I still remember the nights. Going in. We shared bunk beds. So I still remember the night when you were still up when they won. So
Yes. So I don't really count that one, but
okay, got my bigs. Got my wings. I guess I'll pick up another. Go with another guard. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the other guy that was in episode 4 of the American Hoops podcast. Emmanuel Quickly.
And you would take RJ Barrett over Emmanuel Quickly, right?
I don't know.
I think I would.
I think I haven't watched enough film on either of them. I think the advanced stats do take Quickly over RJ because of RJ's inefficiency and everything. But yeah, defense obviously. Oh wait, Quickly's good at defense too, but I think RJ's a little better. So I don't know there.
A very good defender, but RJ's size, I don't know. I can't lie, I haven't watched a lot of Raptors basketball since they've been traded, but yeah. So I was between those two.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I'm still up. Yeah. Oh, good. And I'll go with someone who is I don't hate him, but you and John despise him. I'll go with no way. That's the third one. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna take Josh Hart.
Oh, I think if Josh Hart was a Celtic, I'd absolutely love him.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just one of those guys. He's the annoying hustle, one of the best rebounding guards in the game. I don't know if you could count him as a guard. He plays like the 4 sometimes. So
yeah.
All right, I need another big. Because Embiid is probably going to get hurt, and I'm going to draft a guy that is definitely going to get hurt, and I'm going to go with Mitchell Robinson.
I wouldn't have taken him. I would have taken another big.
Who am I forgetting? Another big.
We haven't drafted that under that team yet.
The Nets? Who's the big on the Nets?
Nick Claxton.
Yeah.
I think that Claxton's better than Robinson, but I know that I know that some people I think he's slightly better in defense, and both of them are efficient on offense. But yeah, I think that none of them really.
They both have flaws to their game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right, I was gonna go Mitchell Robinson and Josh Hart, but you took both of them. So let's see. Mitch, I can't take Claxton now because my bench is super. All right, I'm gonna take scoring off my bench. I'm gonna take Cam Thomas.
Good one. Okay. Let's see. So let me jot this down real quick. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, so 3, 4, 5. 5, 3, 1, 2. Let's see. I would considering taking Claxton and having Horford be the 4 off the bench, or do I go with another guard or wing? Maybe a Sam Hauser, maybe a Kelly Oubre Jr. Probably not. I don't know many players on the Raptors. Not many other players. And then Dennis Schroeder, probably not. I guess I would. I'll take Thomas over Schroeder. So, no, you took Thomas. I'll take Claxton over Schroeder. You know what? Screw it. I'm not going to go Sam Hauser. I'm going to go. We're 10 deep. We already have some solid role players. I'm going to go with the guy who's going to be our designated browser beater guy. I'm going to take Payton Pritchard.
Nice. Very nice.
Shout out Payton Pritchard for bagging an absolute dime piece, by the way, over the summer. Yeah, good for him. Yeah.
She's famous.
She's famous. What's her name again?
Emma McDonald, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Good for him. He's which like we were pissed at him over the last summer for saying for like requesting the trade and everything. It was very justifiable. He was the 9th man and everything. But yeah, Brad Stevens said, no, we're going to trade away some of our other bench pieces. You're going to be the first one for an improved starting lineup, and you're going to be one of the first guys off the bench. And didn't really contribute a ton to the playoffs, but still hit a good amount of buzzer beaters and caused the loudest noise in the Driscoll household ever, probably. So
Yeah, I mean, I know it's like tough when a guy on your team requests a trade. You're like, oh, like what a jerk, blah blah blah. But like, I totally get it. Like, he got his money and he bought into his role and he played really well. So I love Peyton Pritchard.
Yeah. Okay. I think for the first time ever, like since we started going live on All American Hoops, we've always been running short on time. But yeah, we have plenty of time for this last segment. Which I'm not
what's your starting five? I want to compare.
Oh yeah, let's go over that. Absolutely, yeah, we could definitely do that. So my starting five, I got Jalen Brunson at my 1, I got Tyrese Maxey at my 2, Paul George at my 3, Jason Tatum at my 4, and Kristaps Porzingis at my 5.
Okay, I have my lineup is very good defensively. I have Drew Holiday, Jaylen Brown, Scotty Barnes, Julius Randle, and Joel Embiid.
That's a very good one.
Yeah.
And then just for kicks, we'll do the bench too. I have I got to switch this around a little bit. So I got Peyton Pritchard at my 1, IQ at my 2. Yeah, I get Josh Hart at my 3, Mikal Bridges at my 4, and Al Horford at my 5.
Yeah, I'd probably switch Hart and Bridges there. Probably put
Mikal. Okay, yeah, makes sense.
Coming off the bench, I have a man who's never seen a shot he doesn't like. Cam Thomas at the 1, D White at the 2. I don't know who I would put at 3/4. The 2 wings, OG Anunoby and
I'd probably put RJ at the 3, I think.
And then OG at the 4?
Probably.
Maybe, yeah. And then I got Mitchell Robinson at the 5.
Right. Yeah. Strengths and weaknesses about each of our teams. Yeah, like I definitely had the advantage with the first pick, and then obviously stole some of your players. But so that I think you can go either way, especially when you go down the bench. Cool. So
the Instagram poll later.
I forgot. I haven't done the past couple. Yeah, I didn't do one. Yeah, like that's totally on me. I didn't do one for the Olympics, and I didn't do one when John and I did one for the remaining players in the playoffs a few weeks ago. So yeah, I'll try to remember this time around.
Sorry to go back to our Peyton Pritchard discussion earlier. Matt McCann commented, Peyton Pritchard erasing the dribble into the corner and turn the ball over from his bag fed families. That was a huge improvement to his game.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, awesome. Okay, so shout out to Kenny Beecham, Pee Wee Dog, D Mills, and Mike. I don't know if he has which probably it's not Pee Wee Dog, it's Pee Wee something else. PR. I don't know his actual. I forgot his nickname, but and I don't know Mike's nickname either. But yeah, those 4 guys are one of my favorite podcasts to listen to. All they do is talk basketball. Yeah, like which I know I don't really endorse a ton of shows unless it's under the Sports Fluent channel. But these guys know ball, and I love listening to them. They had an awesome hypothetical the other day. I shouldn't say the other day. It was probably about a week ago. It was if every team had 2 of their best player, who would improve the most? So they came up with a couple of them. And we're not going to go through all 30, but I did write down all 30 of every single team's best player. And I will, and I'll go over some of them that stood out to me. But Matt, are there any of them that stood out to you?
This was mentioned on the podcast, and I wouldn't have thought about it. Like I would have eventually thought of it, but the first guy mentioned was Victor Wembanyama. The Spurs had 2 7-5 guys that he is definitely a center as a 4. But he can space the floor. Like 2 7-5 guys, that would be insane. They would go from one of the worst teams in the league to a definite playoff team. So I think they would be one of the guys top to improve. And obviously the Nuggets, 2 Nikola Jokic's. You put 2 of the best players in the world on the same team, they would be unbelievable.
100%. And I had so my friend Quinn Giblin actually sent me a text the other day of like that specific video, and we had a deep conversation about a good amount of those. So, the Wemby one does concern me a little bit, because 7-5 obviously, like nobody's going to score if they nobody's going to want to drive down the lane, obviously for obvious reasons. Wemby's not great out in space though, so that would be my main issue with him. Let's see, are you laughing at the comment? I'm assuming.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, we agree, John.
For those listening on Spotify, friend of the pod, John Driscoll, hopefully is on soon, commented, definitely not Embiid unless you want 2 fat oafs that love to choke in the playoffs.
I agree. Yeah. So, Yes, yeah. So as I was mentioning with Wemby, his issue would be, he's not really good out in space, and he's not really a good shooter yet. So they would get better for sure. I'm not saying otherwise, but yeah, I'm just not sure. But back to the two Embiids. Every single team would improve by adding their best another copy of their best player. Does he solve any of their problems though? Adding a second Embiid? No, he's you want to add like another force in the paint, awesome. Another guy who can defend the rim. You still got a guy who flops everywhere in a big spot. He doesn't solve your closing problem. I guess we can't factor in health here because like just adding in best player, we're just doing hypothetical power there on the court. But yeah, he doesn't solve any of their issues. Which the second time we've hitting on Embiid today. So yeah, we got a good episode in. Yeah, 100% agree with Jokic. Defense is going to take a little bit of a hit, especially on the perimeter, but still, you got the best pass in the league along with the best post player in the league. So yeah, just Jokic can be the guy. He'll be your point center again full time. He's not in good shape enough to be the guy to like run up and down the courts. Like if it fills his own the offense, but still get Jamal Murray to take the ball off the court and then pass it up to Jokic on top of the key, and then he'll
Jokic pick and roll. How are you gonna guard that?
I don't know. There's really no way. Speaking of how you're going to guard that, they mentioned Steph Curry.
Yeah,
that is the one thing where I'm not concerned about defense at all.
Yeah,
you have two Steph Currys. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were unstoppable for half a decade when they were together. That's with Klay Thompson being a guy who is not great at creating his own shots. Like Steph and Klay were awesome together because they complemented some of their roles really, really well. Jesus Christ, John. Oh, wait. So Kuzma, Jordan Poole would make the Rizzes. Right. 100 agree with that, Matt's.
Yeah, I was thinking to go off of Matt's comment. Like, there are some teams like the Trailblazers' best player is Anthony Simons. Like, who?
It was either Anthony Simons or Jeremy Grant, I think.
Jeremy Grant. Like, they get better, I guess. Like,
not by much. Yeah. Again, like not by, yeah.
Adding another Cade to the Pistons, like they definitely get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
adding another Brandon Miller or LaMelo, like whoever you want, like the Hornets definitely get better. The Nets, like adding Cam Thomas, like is Cam Thomas the best player? Do they get better if you have two Cam Thomases on the team?
I don't know.
I don't think you do. Like I don't think they get better.
I think they get better with adding another Nick Claxton. I'm not sure either.
It's tough. Besides like a Jokic, or I know you said like adding another Embiid wouldn't answer the Sixers' questions, but I think the Sixers get way better with two Embiids. It's tough to do centers because, like,
yes,
they mentioned this, like, even like two Giannis's, like, obviously defense is elite. Like, it's two Giannis's, like, it's insane that team will take like 45 free throws a game, but who, like, they kind of get in the way of each other. Like the space, like it's tough spacing. I mean, like, if your best player is a wing, like obviously, like, you know, two Jason Tatum, like it's, you know, everyone says portability now, but
okay,
like,
so
it's huge in this situation.
Yeah, let's try to stick to one at a time, just so we can stick to. No, that's fine. Yeah, I didn't specify that in the beginning. But centers are definitely tough. Yeah, adding another Jokic, adding another Embiid. Like I think Jokic is different because he's a whole another he's on another level from everyone else. But yeah, we'll talk about some of the guards, actually, some of the smaller guards. So teams with the best player who are guards. So Jalen Brunson obviously is Jalen Brunson's one. Who's Donovan Mitchell, my favorite player, is another one. SGA is one of the more interesting ones, actually, that I thought about. Who else we got that I wrote down? Trae Young.
Here, do you want to talk about the Knicks with how they get better?
Sure. Yeah. You can go and do that if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna talk about the Knicks because Jack LaSalle just entered the chat. Shout out Jack LaSalle. The Knicks obviously get way better. I think Thibodeau would play both of them all 48 minutes a game. So I think they'd be dead by the two Jalen Brunsons would be dead halfway through the season. But defense would definitely take a hit. They do a good job hiding one Jalen Brunson. I think it would be tough to hide two Jalen Brunsons, but I think that team would lead the league in charges.
the league in charges, have a good amount of steals. One thing that's not mentioned is adding another shot creator is going to be huge for them as well. So yeah, while defense is a massive concern, your team is going to have a ceiling if you have two liabilities as your defensive backcourts. And it's not like the Cavs where they have two elite rim defenders. Mitch Robinson is a great defender, but again, off the, court issues, Precious Achiuwa would have to be that guy. Thank you, Jack LaSalle, for that very nice comments. I got to stay on top of this. Yeah, uploading some of the comments on here, so I appreciate you, Jack, there. Which I love seeing Jack's face whenever I upload that picture, that thing here. So since City Sports, whoever that is, thank you for tuning in. 48 minutes a game, sometimes playing all 83 games. Definitely, that's right. Jalen Brunson's one. Donovan Mitchell is another one. Listen, love Donovan Mitchell to death. I think he's better than Jalen Brunson, but
I disagree. But
yeah, I know you do. But playmaking is going to be interesting. You would have to trade Darius Garland at that point, I think.
Yeah,
which that would have been better to do last offseason because he had higher trade value. Which, granted, I do think that that Mitchell is going to be Garland's going to be much better this year. So, but yeah, those three guys couldn't be. I don't trust them at all. We got Driscoll favorite Trae Young here, as another one. They get better. Like I'm not going to say otherwise, but they would be so bad on defense. You literally have the two worst defenders in the league on the same, sharing the court at the same time. Clint Capella is a very good defender. Jalen Johnson, I'm not really sure, but I'm sure he's pretty solid. But dude,
I think you go from what were they last year, 10 seed to they're still a playing team. Like they're
not making the playoffs. Absolutely not.
Yeah,
they're better for sure. John asked when you guys can talk about the Mets playoff first. I talked about it in the monologue. Don't you worry, John. When I mentioned Bartolo Colon is my episode 40 guy. The Hawks get better. I don't know how much better. John thinks they get worse. So I'm not really.
It's like what we said before about guys getting in the way of each other. We mentioned it with centers, but a guy like Trae Young has to have the ball in his hands to, like, I guess his off-ball offense is not very good.
It's not bad. He can still shoot the ball pretty well. He's always
he shoots the ball very well, but his usage rate is like 40%. Like he needs the ball in his hands.
True. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And with his liability on defense is underselling it. I don't see how much better they get.
That'd be very, very interesting. So yeah, I'm just looking up a stat reel for the next player we're going to talk about. Guy who took a massive jump this year. Actually, last year was the bigger jump, but also this year as well. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I'm trying to think of what he shoots from three. His shooting kind of been like Tatum, a little inconsistent. So his best shooting year was in 2021, where he shot 42% from three. Then a big dip in 2022, only 30%. How many games did he play in 2022? I guess only 56, but there was only 35 in 2021. So that was kind of an outlier year. And then since then, it's been pretty consistent at, I just scrolled over, it's at 35%. So 35% both years, 34.5 and then 35.3. So he's another one. They get better without a doubt, 100%. Especially with because you got the two best drivers in the league. So driving kick is always going to be a relatively effective offense in the regular season at least, but in the playoffs they're going to have a ceiling. It's going to be pretty similar to. I feel like it's going to be similar to Harden and Russ in the playoffs. That's what I feel.
I don't really know about that. SGA played awesome in the playoffs this year, and I feel like, he isn't an awful 3-point shooter by any means. I think
no, he's not.
35% is what's league average from three. I think that's pretty close to league average, if not above.
Let me check. That's another one.
So I think, he's also an elite two-way player. So I think defense doesn't take a hit, and their offense drastically improves. So I think they're already the favorites out of the West, but I think they just solidify that even more.
So. If I'm looking at this right, so yeah, slightly below average from three, so 97 3-point plus. So good. I wouldn't say good. Yeah, slightly below average, which is fine. Like if you're, obviously you prefer it to be a very good 3-point shooting team, but that's not, obviously not going to be affected too much there. But yeah, they get better for sure, especially when you're. Who's their other 2 guard this past year was Giddey. So yeah, they definitely, obviously they're going to be much better there. And then with this brand new revamped roster, it's going to be a very elite team. There's one more guard. Oh yeah, then Steph Curry, obviously, like we mentioned, we touched on him a little bit, but before we were cut off by the hilarious comment section. So yeah, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson were elite for half a decade together. They complemented each other really well because they didn't really expose any of their. They were able to cover up some of their weaknesses. Steph Curry perimeter defense, Klay Thompson not being able to create his own shot at times. So their defense would take a hit. I shouldn't say take it. Like I shouldn't say take a hit. Like I'm comparing them strictly based on how they were in like 2015 to 2019. But yeah, replacing another Steph Curry this year. Oh no, sorry, replacing Klay Thompson this year with another Steph Curry from this year. 100% a massive upgrade because Steph Curry is almost as efficient as he was in 2016, and just no, he's not as good as a defender as he was in 2016. But yeah, it's still not a bad defender. He's not good, but you have to chase around Steph. You have to chasing around one Steph Curry is hard enough. Chasing around 2 Steph Currys is going to be damn near impossible. So
yeah,
the Warriors were the 10th seed this past year. I think they could easily climb up to be like a 6th seed with 2 Steph Currys.
I have a question for you, Chris. Are there any teams that would be better if you had 2 of another player besides their best player?
I'm happy you brought that up because I was thinking about that.
This is a tough one because
So first, I'll mention him again. So my friend Quinn Giblin, he asked me, do the Celtics get better with Tatum or Brown? Another Tatum or another Brown? I think it's another Tatum because of his playmaking ability, and Jalen's like the better guy as far as goes for taking on tougher matchups, but defensive versatility, adding another guy who's who I think is Jason Tatum is the easiest guy to build around the league. Having like another guy who could do anything, that's great.
I was gonna say the Phoenix Suns, like
they're who I was gonna bring up. Yeah. So who are they gonna add to get better?
I would add another Kevin Durant.
I would too, because like it'd be one thing if this was still. If it was like say like they traded for Kevin Durant in 2021, so Chris Paul is still a top 20 player in 2021. I think I'm adding another Chris Paul. They don't have Oh wait, no, that's not true. Actually,
about the Suns that year or the Suns
no. I know I was wrong there for a second because I was thinking a second Chris Paul, but I don't know because their starting lineup is just so flawed. Like they're just so redundant that adding another piece makes them very redundant, even more redundant. But still, it's Kevin freaking Durant, so it's pretty tough.
I feel like Kevin Durant is also one of those guys that is easy to build around.
Right.
I mean, obviously some contracts there are horrible, like Bradley Beal, but I think Devin Booker with another Kevin Durant will focus way more on just playmaking, and I think that makes them light years better because I think that's like their main issue is they have no true point guard.
Absolutely. They're actually I was gonna say John mentioned him earlier, Jimmy Butler. First of all, I don't know if Jimmy Butler's the best player in the league anymore. Second of all,
I think. Is it crazy to say I think Bam is better than Jimmy Butler?
It is not crazy. No, it's not. It is not crazy at all. And I know that Tony would, if Tony was on the podcast now, he'd play the Chilton clip. That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that. But no, it is not at all wild to say Bam Adebayo is better. So, but I would still add another Jimmy over another Bam because you're adding another wing. And Bam can't shoot, or he can shoot, but not in the playoffs. 2 title heroes.
Another team, Chris, if you don't mind me mentioning it, is the Los Angeles Lakers. If you had another one of their top 2 players, they get unbelievably better. Which one do you add? I add LeBron.
I add another LeBron too, even though AD has proven that he could play both the 5 and the 4, and that defense would be bananas. So, but still, you still have your issues with perimeter defense. If they could add AD and then replace Reeves or D'Lo with like another shooter, and then have with I shouldn't say shooter, with like another like solid wing piece, like a which I know I'm going to sound like a Lakers fan here because like I'm coming up with an unrealistic scenario of the Lakers somehow getting like an all-star wing, but they can get like another solid wing, like an OG, or bridge a little too high, but it's like an OG, and LeBron running the points. Like LeBron would be the point guard in this ideal scenario, with AD being the 4 and the 5. So that's, I think, LeBron at the 1 and then AD at the 4 and the 5 with some okay wing pieces. That's the team that's at the top of the West.
Yeah, I think
LeBron is never 3-point shooter. No, that's right. Yeah, that is correct there.
It is kind of like what I said with the Suns. Like if one of the LeBrons just focused on being the point guard, and then another one focused on being LeBron James.
That's right.
You know, it would be unbelievable. Forgot to mention that in the comment section, Jack LaSalle is a known Anthony Davis hater.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay,
one of the biggest I've ever met. So,
okay, yeah, that used to be me. I like Anthony Davis now, but who are we missing that we haven't talked about yet?
We didn't talk about the Mavericks adding another Luka Doncic.
They get better, but
they get way better.
Yeah.
Their defense takes a massive hit. And again, it's another issue of,
do they start Luka, Kyrie, and Klay Thompson? I would love that. I would love that. And that douchebag Derek Lively Jr. at the centerpiece. I've never seen a guy go on a victory lap from losing in the goddamn finals. Screw that guy.
Yeah, like when I first heard of Derek Lively, like it was a nice story. He has like a nice story about him and his mom, and then like he likes playing with Legos, and I'm like, all right, like cool, I can like this guy. Like he shot 100% from the field in the Western Conference Finals. He's a lob threat. And then he just started talking a bunch of. What is he
like? What do you say this? What do you say like this past couple weeks? Like he said something about Tatum. I forgot what, but like.
Well, he mocked the "we did it."
Oh, that's right.
If a player on my favorite team mocks somebody about their final celebrations after beating my favorite team in the playoffs, I would have launched my phone off the Tappan Zee Bridge.
I feel like when the Celtics lost the Heat, I feel like somebody said something. I forgot. Like, I feel like I'm making it up, but like I feel like there was a scenario where like I was. Well, you know what it was? The Celtics were down 3-0, and then like Smart and Brown were like saying something like kind of snippy to the media. I'm like, guys, shut up! Like we're down 3-0. But yeah, so I was like pissed off at that. I couldn't imagine being a Mavs fan saying like, dude, what are you doing?
That wasn't my least favorite thing Lively said the past 2 weeks. The other day, he was talking about how Gobert was unplayable in the Western Finals. He was unplayable in the finals. I get people are like, oh, you're going after a rookie. Yeah, don't talk smack about Rudy Gobert.
Mouth, yeah.
You were clamped by a small forward, but
yeah,
that's our Derek Lively tangent for the episode.
Okay.
Get back to the matter at hand.
Thank you for getting me back on topic.
We'll still talk about the Mavs. Do you like with some of these scenarios? Like same thing with Embiid, same thing with like Giannis. Yeah. Does one of them come off the bench?
No. Maybe they come off the bench.
Maybe not like those guys. Like maybe those were bad examples, but like Luka, like his concern is conditioning and defense. Two of them on the floor would be horrible defense, and he has to have the ball in his hand.
Yep. I'm expecting the Mavs to be towards the borderline playing team this year. Which, by the way, they were the 5 seed this year. People are forgetting they were the 5 seed this year, which I know they improved their team like halfway ththrough the year. They were the 5 seed. I said the same thing after the bubble in 2020 when I said the Heat weren't going to be good in 2021. They were not good in 2021. They've been good. They were good in 2022 and 2023. But you do not automatically turn your team around in 2022 and 2023. I do not think. Yeah, like that's. I do not think that Jason Kidd is Eric Spoelstra, but like, okay, we're hitting on the Mavs again. So yeah, let me go back. But yeah, adding another Luka, but to your points, yeah, they do get better. I'm not sure how much better though. We didn't
talk about my Orlando Magic yet.
We have not. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was thinking about them. Yeah, like so.
They're Paulo. I think you like it. That's one of the teams where you add the best player.
100%.
Add Paulo.
Add another wing player. I think. Yeah, like it's funny enough because I feel like the two of them. It's funny. I keep on saying the two of them like as if they're not the same person, but The issue with them is their turnover rates and their inefficiency.
Yep.
So but I think adding another guy with that almost in a way might improve them. It might like encourage them to be better. So maybe their jump shot gets better too. Like maybe they're more open with their driving. So that would be very, very interesting. Okay. Yeah, we got a few minutes here. So you brought up Rudy Gobert. We'll talk about his best teammates, Anthony Edwards. So Mike Conley, Ant, Katz, and Gobert. That's freaking awesome. I think they lost 4-1 to was it 4-1 or 4-2? I think it was 4-1 to the Mavs. I think they flipped that series very, very easily with adding another Ant. Although listening to people talk about how Anthony Edwards dynamic, whatever the other guy's name would be, listening to them being like a better dynamic duo than Tatum and Brown apparently would make me want to throw up. And talking about how much aura that duo has would again make me want to puke. But still, like we're looking at it objectively, they would be one of the best teams, the best team in the West, and one of the best teams in the league. So there's that. And I'll mention this team, even though he'd be injured all the time. 2 Kawhi Leonards would be disgusting. I still believe the fully healthy Kawhi Leonard is, without a doubt, a top 10 player, debatably top 5. When he was healthy this year, he was playing like an MVP. Having 2 of those guys, which I know people are going to say like, oh, Kawhi and Paul George weren't the same. Kawhi Leonard is above and beyond Paul George, and adding a second player of him. This was a guy who like when I had Hoop Venue on, he talked about this. It's not that he was just like efficient in his shot making. He was also just like handling the ball extremely well. Wasn't really turning the ball over and playing all league defense. 2 Kawhi Leonards would be filthy.
Kawhi Leonard was, when he was playing healthy this year, you said MVP candidate. Arguably, this is crazy, but a top 3 player.
No, it is not crazy. Like
he was unbelievable.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. There was 1 week where I had the Clippers number 1, like in my bi-weekly power games. That's made me very excited. I'm pumped to do that again because I shout out Primetime Sports Talk, man, because they haven't really reached because they haven't really given me crap for not writing articles for them the past few weeks. But we talked about most of the teams that I wanted to. I think we mentioned the Hornets briefly. I would definitely add Brandon Miller ahead of LaMelo Ball, even though LaMelo is probably the better player. Again, you're adding another wing. No one else really comes to mind. Scotty Barnes would be fun because the Raptors stink, and just adding another young player would be a lot of fun.
Who do you add for the Chicago Bulls?
They said Kobe White, but they said Kobe White, and I don't know who else would be a good option. I mean, it would be Zach LaVine probably, but I don't know.
What team is the best team in the league with everyone having the 2 of the best players? Is it the Celtics? Am I just overthinking it, or
I don't know if you're okay? Yeah, I might be overthinking too, but adding another Jason Tatum would be awesome. Derek White would be the 6-man, would be the guy. I don't know if Derek White's interesting, and I know we're running out of time here, but like Derek White would be someone who is Derek White just great in his role as the 3rd, 4th guy, best guy in the court. Could he lead a second unit? Yes, he could, but I feel like he'd be much more efficient in that starter's role. Same thing with Drew, so that would be the one issue. But yeah, it would be either the Celtics or the Nuggets, I think.
Maybe the Timberwolves too.
Maybe the Timberwolves. Yeah, the Timberwolves are another one. The Warriors wouldn't be the top of the West, but they would be a playing team. Playoff team. Was that?
The Lakers would be up there.
The Lakers 100% be up there. Who are we missing as best players in the league? Giannis and Luke would be tough.
The Knicks. Yep. You disagree?
Fuck the Knicks. That's what. Okay, and last comments. And I 100%. I low key agree with this. Matt McCann have Tatum to lead the bench unit.
That'd be disgusting.
Yes, it would be disgusting. It's not the worst thing in the world though. It would be a lot of fun.
And then have the closing lineup of
him. Tatum, Malcolm Brogdon, and like those 3 scrubs were able to be the best like a unit ever. So that would be amazing. So, okay, all right. That leads us to the end of the episode. This has been another episode of the All American Hoops podcast via Sports Fluence. Follow Sports Fluence at Sports Fluence on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Also follow the All American Hooper on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok as well. We go live every Tuesday at 6:00. Where Matt, thanks very much for coming on the show. Again, we're very excited to NBA season coming up. We're coming up on close to a month until the season starts, so we're very happy about that. There's been another edition.
In the comment section.
What was that? Oh, shout out, John Driscoll, Matt McCann, Jack LaSalle, Sand Surf City, whatever that guy was.
Sports.
Yeah, appreciate that. All right, thank you very much, everyone, and hope you have a great night.